Alright, what it's up? So today I'll be doing the review on this ADV 150. This bike has been with me since November 2019. I got it firsthand when it first came out. I bought it straight away. This is my bike for my work and for my normal daily errands. So as you can see, this ADV 150, the styling is very similar to the older sibling, which is the Honda XADV 750. But if you notice, this one, it just says ADV 150. This scooter is actually a sibling to the more older and popular PCX 150. And it is also a sibling to a new model, Honda Airblade, which is a more sporty scooter. This is a 149cc single cylinder overhead cam engine, ESP, enhanced smart power, right about there. Okay, so the performance of this engine. Okay, this engine puts out 14.3 horsepower at 8,500 RPM and a 13.8 Newton meter of torque at 6,500 RPM. This bike is also fuel injected, so no more carburetor for this. And this also have this stop idling technology, which means on a standstill traffic, if the bike is stationary for 10 seconds, the engine will automatically cut off, and once you roll the throttle, it will start and move up as per normal. This allows this scooter to be more fuel efficient compared to its market competitors in the same segment. Okay, fuel economy wise, for this bike we are getting around 45 km per liter. So depends on your riding style. This bike will churn you about 40 to 45 km on city traffic, which is very efficient for its size. Apart from the styling, there are a few differences when it comes to the engine design of this bike. Mainly the air intake is about 20 mm longer and the connecting duct is 2 mm longer. And also take note that the rollers for the CVT on this bike is about 2 grams heavier than the PCX. What this does is that this allows this engine to have a slower acceleration. It revs slower, increase its low to mid-level torque, and at the same time the top end speed is higher. So now let's take a look at its instrument cluster, which you have the main one, which is LED, and the secondary one, which will show you just a few warning lights or signal lights. Okay, so for the secondary cluster, to make it simple, what I show you are the signal indicators. It will also show you the idle stop switch, the high beam, the key indicator, the mill light, and the engine oil warning. Now for the main gauge, what it show you is the fuel gauge, trip meters, your speedometer. You have a digital clock in there, and you have the average fuel consumption. You also have a built-in voltmeter, your outside temperature, and you have the average fuel consumption, which is here. What I don't like about this dash is I wish that they have a tachometer. Okay, for the lights, as you can see, it's all LED lights for the signal light, the daylight, and the high beam. So I switch it on all now. So this is the lights when it's just a normal day running light without the high beam. You can see the portion at the back is not lighted up. The front side of this bike gives you a very big presence. It doesn't look small compared to other scooter. It really gives you a confidence on the road. For the back, still same LED signal lights and the brake light. It has that X mark, which is very nice. X, you can see it's an X mark. Very nice indeed. So for the brakes, this bike has a dual disc brake, front and rear. The front is a 240mm disc brake with a twin pot. There are also ABS version available for this, for the front brake. For the rear is a 130mm disc single pot. This brake configuration is good. It provides very strong stopping power. That is why I did not opt for the ABS version, because I think that is not necessary for this size of bike. As you can see here, they have two brake lines right there, combi brake. How it works is that when you depress this left lever, it will engage both the rear and the front brake, whereas on the right hand side, this lever will only engage the front brake. Okay, now we'll talk about a little bit more about the chassis. First of all, this bike has an 8-liter fuel tank, and with its fuel efficiency and for fuel economy, it can give you up to 360 kilometer range, which I'd say is more than enough adventure for everyone. The height clearance of this bike is 160 mm, which is about 30 mm higher than most scooter. The front wheel is a 14-inch wheel with cast alloy spokes, 12 spokes in front. The rear wheel is a 13-inch wheel, cast alloy rim with 10 spokes. So why did they go for a spoke design? Because this allows the transfer of stress from the rim to the wheel axle more equally, and it will give a more accurate feedback to the rider. This bike also have a 27-liter underseat compartment where you can keep a half-face helmet, your rain gear, and some other stuff. This is also where you access the battery right here. This is the stock tool bag and my wet wipes for emergency use. At the front, they have a glove box compartment, and it also houses a 12-volt ACC socket or a normal car socket, so you can charge your phone in here also. So as you can see how big it is, you can actually fit quite a big phone in there. Only downside is that the hinges are quite shaky, as you can see here. The gas tank is also here. As you can see, this mechanism is not working, so the quality is not there lah. The gas tank is here, sits low, but once it's closed, it's good. The ergonomics, it gives you a very upright riding position, so it's very comfortable and not very aggressive. The seat is actually very good. It's not too soft, it's not too firm, it's just nice, especially for riding for hours. Good quality. One more feature of this bike is the adjustable windscreen. So it has a 2-position adjustment. controlled by these knobs, which brings the height of the windscreen higher or lower. So this is the high position. Lift this tab, pull down. Now this is the low position. Okay, the handlebar on this bike is wide and thick. It has some end balancer to try and remove the vibration from the single cylinder engine. So this long handlebar helps you with the steering. It makes it lighter. So the footboard got two positions. Okay, one is here. Okay, this is a 90-degree position. So in this position is very comfortable in slow traffic, but once you start going on high speed or winding roads where you want to anchor yourself better, you can actually move your feet in front slightly for a more aggressive and more secured position. For the front suspension, we have a Showa 31mm telescopic front fork. Okay, this front suspension gives you about 5 inch of play. For the rear suspension is a twin piggyback Showa shock with triple rated springs. Triple rated, which means the spring height is not constant. As you can see here, is wide, then medium and very tight. So this suspension have a about 4.7 inch of play, and this triple rated springs is actually help with the two-up riding or the load bearing capacity of this bike. With that being said, right, the on-road performance of this suspension is rather stiff. It is more catered for street riding than off-road riding, but with the amount of free play that it has, it gives you that slight confidence in taking minor off-road tracks. Okay, so the last feature for this bike that I want to discuss is this one. This is the Honda SmartKey system. So it doesn't have any place for you to plug in a key and turn on the ignition. Instead, it works as a remote and an electrical module on the bike. Okay, so for the remote, there are 3 buttons. The first one is the call button. So when you press the button, the bike will light up, so you know which one is your bike or where is your bike. The second button is for the alarm. 2 long beep means that the bike is locked. So when it's locked and anybody try to shake the bike, then the alarm will sound off. So to unlock, you press it again. So 2 beep is unlock, and the last button is for the ignition switch. Okay, so in here, once you're inside the 1.5 meter zone from here, this electric module, once you turn on the key, okay, hold and press until it's green. Now it's green, which means that you can now control this knob. Okay, the bike is on. Alright, so in here you can see that, hold on. Alright, so that signal means that the key is detected or within the zone, so which means that you can actually turn on the ignition. Alright, welcome back. So I had a short detour, just taking a look at the park, since I'm already here and the park just reopened as of last night, 2359. So now we will discuss about 5 advantages, 5 disadvantages, and the 5 reasons why one person will want to buy a Honda ADV 150. First advantage is the fuel tank, 360 kilometer range. Second advantage is the bulletproof and reliable Honda engine. Third advantage is the ACC power socket, which means you don't need to do any modification. Fourth advantage is the SmartKey system, which also allow you to have a security alarm. And the fifth advantage is the brake setup. Now for the disadvantages of this bike, first disadvantage I would say is that its acceleration is slow compared to other sporty scooters. Second disadvantage is the smart key system drains a lot of battery, especially if the bike is stationary for days. You might end up having a flat battery. Third disadvantage is the dual sports tires, to which it has no meaning in Singapore because we have no use for it. I would rather slap on a reliable street tires. Fourth disadvantage is that this bike may not suit people who are taller than me. For myself, I am 175 cm and about 90 kilograms. So if anyone is of a bigger frame or bigger height than me, they might feel that this cockpit is actually very cramped. Alright, after stopping, I just remembered the last on the list is the quality of the gas cover and this glove box compartment. So the quality is not there. I'd say it's quite bad compared to the other parts of the bike. For the last part of this conversation, why should someone buy an ADV 150? Firstly, because of the adventure styling. It's very rugged and macho looking. Secondly is the low cost of maintenance. Thirdly is the overall packaging of the bike. You get this bike as it is and you do not need to do any immediate modification. It's good enough as it is. The fourth reason is that there are a lot of aftermarket parts available. You can get it from Indonesia, from Thailand, or even in China. And the most important reason why somebody would want to buy an ADV 150 is because they cannot afford to buy a ADV 750. As easy as that. Honestly, not everybody is rich enough or have enough money or even the capacity to purchase and own a big bike such as a Honda XDV 750. So with this bike, a Honda ADV 150's mini version, it allows you to almost touch the fate of your dreams without breaking the bank. So that is all for today. So thank you for listening to my nonsense, and if you like this video, please like, subscribe and hit the notification bell button. That is all, guys. So remember, always ride safe. Okay, thank you and peace out.